Hello guys, what's going on? And today I'm launching my new deck I've been dabbling with for some weeks now. Uh, it's a mill deck. I haven't really checked out the format or anything, but I've been a little bit interested in it. In how can a mill deck win a game? So I did a search on the web, the Google, and I found this commander. I have mentioned him in a previous video where I was debating whether to use this commander in my token deck, which is blue. Uh, I also got another token deck, but that's a different story. It's a blue and green deck, yeah. Uh, so this guy, he just basically says that the Mind Skinner can't be blocked, and this is the Mind Skinner. Say hello to the Mind Skinner. Hello. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage on each opponent mills that many cards. So instead of damage, when this commander is out there, all damage gets converted to mills. And it's each opponent as well, so it doesn't matter who I do damage to, all opponents must mill cards. So it's pretty interesting, and I thought that, fuck it. I'm gonna make a deck with only mill effects. But I've called this video the beta because I'm really not sure uh, about whether to just make this deck about only the commander and have all sorts of counters and stuff and redirect damage and put target creature on player's hand and stuff like that, or have a few creatures in there. So with this deck, I've done the latter, but I need your help in trying to think if this is a good idea or not. So there you go. So let's just start from the top here. This is one of the creatures. He's Tromocratis, he's called. And the cool thing about Tomocratis is that as long as I don't do anything with him, he has hexproof. So he can just stand around and have hexproof. So that's kind of cool. Tromocratis has hexproof unless it's attacking or blocking, it says. So Tromocratis can be blocked unless all creatures defending player controls block it. So that basically means that if I attack with this dude, all creatures defending player controls need to block this guy. So that also basically means that if one of the creatures is tapped, then he can't be blocked. So it's all hands on deck, man, as we used to say in EVE Online when I played that. So yeah. So it's pretty powerful. A bit expensive to get out there though, but I think it's worth it. Cost 7. And he has hexproof straight off the bat. So pretty cool. Pretty cool creature. The second powerful creature in this deck, beside my commander, of course, is Sphinx of the Second Sun, it's called. Flying at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, there is an additional beginning phase after this phase. So what I basically get out of that is that I throw him out there, there is the upkeep step, and I untap him, and there's a draw step. And then I just do the same thing again. So I basically, with this guy, just draw 2 cards. So it's not really more complex than that. But he's also pretty powerful, even more expensive to get out there, but he's flying. So other than that, there is not much with this guy, but he's still pretty cool. It's a cool card. Yeah. And he's standing on a plaque or something, it says. Or something. Yeah. Next is the spellbook, where I discard my discard phase. No, I skip my discard phase. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this basically means that if I have too many cards in hand, there is a discard phase, but I skip my discard phase, so I really don't have to discard cards at all. So I can have so many cards I want in my hand. So there you go. Pretty handy, and you're gonna figure out why I have that in a moment. Spire Golem, it's basically just a free creature. He's got affinity for islands, so if I got 6 lands, I can just throw them out there free. So, yeah, and it's cool artwork on this guy. Yeah. I haven't really seen many reskins of that card, so that's the only artwork I got of him. So, oh yeah, I forgot about this guy. This is another powerful creature. Whenever you cast a spell, return target permanent to its owner's hands. That's pretty cool. And I got a few spells in here. Well, basically everything is spells. I keep forgetting that, so yeah. So he can become really annoying, this guy. Yeah. Bouncing Beebles. Bouncing Beebles is unblockable if defending player controls an artifact. And I'm betting that one of my defending players will control an artifact at some point. So then he's unblockable. And as mentioned with my commander, I can just do damage to whoever has an artifact, and everybody must mill cards. So that's pretty good. I do have a card in my maybe pile here. I got 101 cards in here, so I'm considering just adding one more flying creature. Nothing special about him. He's a flying drake, wind drake, but it's cool artwork. Reminds me a little bit of World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, and yeah, he's got flying, so there's that. Yeah, but I'll put this in my maybe pile. And welcome to my stream. For this stream, we got Pepsi Max. Gotta be aware of the sugar consumption a little bit, so I'm drinking Pepsi Max today. Yeah. So here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, oh yeah. That's awesome. Pepsi Max is the shit. I gotta, of course, have a few counters in here to stop my commander from being targeted with stuff. Mind Static, it's a counter, and well, it's basically just a counter, but target player can pay 6 if target player has that amount of mana available to him or her. Weave Fate. Draw 2 cards, so it's a good way to get more cards. Nice to have that in there. Another variation of Weave Fate is called Divination. Draw 2 cards, but this card costs 1 less. Covert Operative. He's basically just a wizard, but he's unblockable. So that's another card that's gonna be hell on earth for my fellow players. Really cool. Yeah. Scrap Diver Serpent is unblockable as long as defending player controls an artifact. So that's another creature which is dependent on them having an artifact, which they most certainly do, and then I attack. And as a reminder, when I attack with this dude, my commander comes in play. The ability of the commander, of course. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards. So I just attack with him, and all my opponents mill 5 cards each. If it doesn't have an artifact or anything attached to it, of course. Then I have this dude. Whenever Crosstown Courier deals combat damage to a player, that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Really cool. The problem, though, with him is that he's only a 2/1, so I'm guessing he needs some artifacts to become powerful and make cause some real trouble for my fellow opponents. Yeah. And this guy does not have, he's unblockable, so I gotta do something else with this guy. So I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile. I don't think I got a deck that meets his demands at the moment, but we'll see. Another cool card for this deck is Phantom Warrior. Nothing truly special about him except he's unblockable. It's just, yeah, plain stop. He's unblockable. It says so on the card, so either you zap him or you do something, but if you don't, then he will just do player damage, man, because he can't be blocked. I also got this guy, Scrivener. When Scrivener comes into play, you may turn target instant or interrupt card from the graveyard to your hand. So this is a pretty old card since it says interrupt, so I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile. I'm not really too sure about him because, well, I don't got many interrupt cards in here. I got a lot of instant cards though, or I may have. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I'm gonna put him in my maybe pile, and maybe we'll find something else. Here we got an enchantment Ura, and it's got flash, so I can cast it whenever I want. And it says, when disturbing conversion enters the battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. So that's good. And enchanted creature gets -X, -0. X is the number of cards in its controller's graveyard. So yeah. It's pretty cool. Lich's Tomb. You can't lose the game for having 0 less life. Whenever you lose life, sacrifice a permanent for each 1 life you lost. I'm not too sure about this one either, to be honest, because I'm gonna lose life really fast. So yeah, that's probably a bummer. But if I lose life and I become 0 life, then my defense is just not good enough. So yeah. And this artifact evolves around me getting a lot of treasure tokens and artifact tokens and crap, but I don't really care for it. So I'm gonna put that in my maybe pile and find something else. This is the beta after all, so there's gonna be a lot of cards in my maybe pile. Vexing Gull. Flash flying. So I can cast this anytime, and it's got flying. I basically just have this card around because of its artwork. I think the artwork is really fun. It's really good. This picture makes me laugh, so there's nothing really special about this bird. He's got flash, of course, but when the hell do I need that? I can cast it as a blocker for a very peculiar situation, but other than that, I don't know. But it's a fun bird. It's a fun card, yeah. Makes me smile. Okay. Then we got this guy. He costs 5, a bit expensive, of course, but he's got toughness to make up for it, I guess. And he's got ward 2. So whenever a player does damage to me with a zap, they need to pay 2 more to actually manage to do that. Yeah. And put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. So I get to do that. So yeah, I'll keep him. And then we got this thing. Brainstone, it says. Sacrifice Brainstone, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Which is pretty good. Yeah. I like it. Gonna keep it. Mana Leak, basically just another counter spell. One of the most basic counter spells out there. Counter target spell unless its caster pays an additional 3. So yeah. Pretty good to have early game. Not too sure if it's that good late game, because then most of my players will have lots of lands. Maybe this is better though. Scatter Arc. Counter target non-creature spell, draw a card. And there's gonna be a lot of non-creature spells being cast, so then this comes in handy. But I can't just cast it whenever. I need to find the right spell to counter. So yeah. Vivisection, a nice way to draw cards, but I need to sacrifice a creature. And I don't think I got creatures in here that give an advantage to being sacrificed, so they just die. But I do get to draw 3 cards though. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna leave it in my maybe pile. Maybe I can find something else. Evacuation. It's not a board wipe per se, but all return all creatures to their owner's hands. Yeah. I'm not really too sure about this either, to be honest with you. It's a sort of a emergency break kind of thing, but all creatures they don't die, they just vanish into my opponent's hands, and then they get summoned right after, so I think I'm gonna leave this in my mid pile as well. I don't think it fits the format of this deck and what I want to do with it. Counter target non-creature spell. Yeah, I guess it's okay. It's cheap and yeah, it's a counter. It's another way to protect my commander if it gets zapped, for example. Mind you, the biggest weakness of this commander is probably his life total. He only has 1 toughness, so that's a bit of a bummer. So you don't need much of a board wipe to get rid of him. You can just have a decent red card, a zapper card, and he's gone. So I think having a lot of artifacts in my deck, which appears I don't have at the moment, will be an advantage. Yeah. When Kingfisher is put into the graveyard from play, draw a card. Another card which I have just for the fun of it, because of the artwork. It's just really good artwork, man, and it's a variation of the other bird I showed you. As you can see. So you see, there's a theme here. Even though this is just a normal bird and this is a seagull. Yeah. Pretty cool. This is one of the most, better cards in the game. Treasure Cruise, it's called. It's only a common card for some reason, but each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this spell pays for 1, so I can just exile cards in my graveyard and draw 3 cards free. And I don't got a lot of graveyard acquisition in this deck at the moment, so I know black has a lot of graveyard acquisition where you play a lot of stuff from your graveyard, but this is blue, so Spell Blast, another classic. This is actually an interrupt, actually. It says interrupt on the card, yeah. So maybe this isn't too bad after all. Where did I have it? There we go. There he is. Yeah. I'm gonna put this in my maybe baby pile. of course, keeping the other card. Yeah. And this is an instant card, Spell Blast, it's called. Isn't that the same as this card? What the hell? Spell Blast? Okay. Yeah, it's the same card. Well, I can't have two of this card, so. Okay, I'll just keep this one, I guess, since it's better explained, and remove this one. So this one is not in my maybe pile anymore. It's getting removed since I can't have two of the same name in Commander deck. Burnished Heart. I've got a few expensive creatures in here, so it's good to have a card that lets me grab more lands. Time Ebb. Put target creature on top of its owner's library. Really nice. The bummer of it is that it is a sorcery, but yeah, but I like this card. Yeah, it's cool. Yesterday you were just a figment of your master's imagination. I liked you better then. Yeah, a bit poetic justice for you there. Brainstorm. Draw 3 cards and put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. So yeah, really good. So it's a variation of Brainstone. You see, it's the same thing. But this is an artifact and this is the spell. So yeah. But it's a way of getting this card twice. And they cost the same even, see? There is a sacrifice cost to this card, but it's okay. So nice, really good. Mystic Confluence, another one of those epic cards that's really good, because here you get to choose 3. And you may choose the same mode more than once. So I can draw 3 cards if I want. I can return 3 target creatures to their hands, owner's hands, if I want. Or I can counter target spell and lets his controller pays 3. Yeah. But okay, let's say he has 3 to pay, then I can just do it again. So he has to pay 6. Oh, he has 6 lands, okay. But he doesn't have more than that. Okay, I just let him pay 9, because I can choose the same mode more than once. So then my player friend goes, ah! Yeah. And then he had to go to the toilet because he got diarrhea. Okay, Mystic Speculation. It's Scry 3, but I get to buy it back and then I can do it indefinitely. So very good. And it's not too expensive either. Only costs 3 total, and then I get to have this in hand. All the time, man. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. It's pretty good, and I can attach it to another creature if I want for 4 mana. Yeah. Affinity for artifacts. I don't got too many artifacts in here now, but that is about to change. I got a lot of cards in my maybe pile, so this guy has affinity for artifacts. That means that he's basically, if I have 7 artifacts in play, then he's basically free. He's got flying, and when Thought Monitor enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. Other than that, there's not much to him. He's a 2/2, and yeah. So Midnight Clock, a fun effect. It's an artifact, and it's also a monostone, but I get to put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. I pay 3. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock, so if I don't do anything with it, it will still get time counter, so that's good. But when the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards. Exile Midnight Clock. So, yeah, it's a pretty fun card. And I've been waiting to use it. I haven't found a situation where I can use it, but in this deck, I can use it. So, yeah. And it's an artifact card as well. Thought Scour, it's an instant, and target player mills 2 cards. Draw a card. This is a mill deck after all, so that's good. Affinity for artifacts. Yeah. Draw 2 cards. I'm not too sure about this though. Affinity for artifacts, if it only costs 1 extra, then but I still need to pay the $1. Yeah, okay. Oh well. I get to draw 2 cards, and that's nice. This spell can't be copied, so I can't copy this thing. But choose one. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. And they most likely will have a lot of cards in their graveyard because this is a mill deck. Copy target spell, you may choose new targets for the copy. Okay. Yeah, and creator token is a copy of target creature. So that's cool. I can't create a copy of my commander though, because he's legendary, and you can only have one legendary creature in play. That's a bit of a bummer, but maybe I can find another creature to copy. Who knows? When Whirlpool Rider comes into play, shuffle the cards from your hand into your library, then draw that many cards. Pretty cool to have because I get to reset my hand and draw some new cards. Yeah. Draw a card for each attacking creature, just a way to get a lot of cards quickly. So I just wait for the right moment. And enemy players, he doesn't even have to, or she doesn't even have to attack me. But he attacks, or she attacks with 4 creatures, and I play this, and I get to draw 4 cards. Easy peasy. During your upkeep, you may put a suit counter on Smokestack. During each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a permanent for each suit counter on Smokestack. So yeah, it's a way to be annoying as hell and just make my life miserable for my fellow opponents. But of course, there's a downside to it. I have to do the same thing, so. But I can sacrifice this as a way of stopping the effect. Yeah. So here we have the first artifact, equipment. I'm considering if I don't have enough equipment in here that I should have more, but we'll see. Equipped creature gets +3/+1 and must be blocked by an Eldrazi Fable. So it doesn't mean that it's unblockable, but if my opponent controls an Eldrazi, that Eldrazi will have to block it. It's a bit expensive, costs 3 to get out there and 4 to equip, but it's worth it. Yeah. And it's nice artwork there as well. Another equipment which is a bit special, and this is a foil. It's barbell gear, so you wear this, but you hurt yourself while wearing it, because equipped creature gets +4 -1. So, yeah. But let's say I have my commander out there. Is looking like that. Right? And then I equip this to him. So now he's suddenly 13-2. You see that? 10 plus 3 is 13. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. And then I equip this. So now he's 17-1. If I do it the other way around, if I equip this, then this effectively kills my commander because he only has 1 life. So -1 to toughness, my commander dies. But if I do it like this, my commander is still alive and he's 17-1. And he attacks. Yowza. That's 17 cards, man, that my opponents need to mill from their libraries. So pretty cool. Equipped creature can't be blocked except by walls. I'm not too sure about this either, to be honest. Because, well, or maybe I do got some creatures that can benefit from this, so I guess I'll just keep it around. My commander is in effect unblockable from the get-go, so he doesn't need this, but I got a few others. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. This guy, for example. So I equip this on him, and he's effectively unblockable. He is not unblockable, this guy, if I don't have this. But he's got flying, so maybe my opponents don't have flying, but yeah. This will guarantee nobody plays with walls anymore. Come on. A classic staple of blue in Magic the Gathering. Each turn, each creature cannot attack you unless its controller pays an additional 2 for that creature. So yeah. Gotta have that in there, of course. Counterspell. The most classic of classic cards, this. And it's also an interrupt. So. Return all permanents of the color of your choice to their owner's hands. Really good. And I just found out that that also includes lands of the chosen color. That's another thing with this guy. I can't return sorceries with him, so he's going from my maybe baby pile to my maybe pile. Oh, okay. Choose target creature you control, and that's of course my commander. Each other creature becomes a copy of that creature until the end of turn, except it isn't legendary. So if I got 4 creatures in play, including my commander, and I play this, and I check this card, my creatures don't get summoning sickness. If I just play this card and do it then of course this creature has summoning sickness. But and you say, hey, but isn't this creature legendary? You can only have 1 legendary in play. Yeah, that's true. But on this card it says each other creature becomes a copy of that creature until the end of turn, except it isn't legendary. So then I can have 4 of this guy and attack. And if he doesn't have any artifacts equipped or anything, then it's 40 cards milled, man. Yeah. So pretty good, pretty efficient card to have. If you would if you would lose the game, instead shuffle your hand, your graveyard, and all permanents you own into your library, then draw 7 cards and your life total becomes 20. Yeah, I guess it's okay. It's an artifact. It's fun. I'm gonna keep it. Here's another card. A quick creature has an attached blinding powder. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to this creature this turn. So I guess that's also quite good. I gotta read a little bit up on it. It sounds almost too good to be true, but yeah. If I attack with my commander and somebody stops him with a spell or anything, I can just equip an attached blinding powder. That means this creature loses artifact and it goes on the board, but all combat damage is reduced to this guy, so you can just go to McDonald's and buy a Happy Meal. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Treasure Trove. Draw a card. Pretty simple. I've been waiting to use this card on a deck for some time now, and now I have the chance. So here we go. Treasure Trove, here I come. Yoo-hoo! Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Really good. Nice artwork in there as well. Whenever you cast a blue spell or an island enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. So just a basic way to just survive longer. So I gotta have this, even though I don't think it's the best card in the world. Flying creature spells with flying you cast cost 1 less to cast. Pretty cool. It's a flying creature, and my creature spells are 1 less expensive. Counter target spell unless the caster pays an additional X if he or she does not tap all mana producing lands that player controls and remove all mana from his or her mana pool. Pretty cool, pretty sick. It's a power sink. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest back on the top of your library in any order. It's a nice way to rearrange my cards, get something decent, and get rid of cards I don't need. So this creature has flash. No, creature. This spell has flash. It's an enchantment, and when Fee Flight enters the battlefield, enchant creature gains hexproof until end of turn. So it's not hexproof indefinitely, but until end of turn. And enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. So pretty decent. Yeah. It's basically just a counter spell in disguise. So enchant player, at the beginning of enchanted players upkeep, that player puts the top 2 cards of his library into his or her graveyard. That's pretty cool. So I get to finish off 1 player more quickly. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X, where X is your devotion to blue. Oh yeah. Pretty cool. So devotion to blue just basically means if I only have this creature out there, then my devotion to blue is 2, because I got 2 of these symbols right here. I don't really much see the need for this card, actually, because I already got a commander that gives me mill privileges, so I can just make this creature instead and it will become more powerful. Because with this commander in play, if a creature attacks, all my opponent's mill cards instead of just one player. So, yeah. Oh my god. These live streams are awesome. A child creature gets +2/+0 and is unblockable. Pretty obvious why I have to keep this in there. You may choose not to untap. A nice way to get control of a creature my opponent controls. And that creature also gains my commander's power, so yeah. Pretty good. As long as static orbits untap, players can't untap more than 2 permanents during their untap steps, which is also quite good because I really don't need anything else to be untapped than my commander. So yeah. I finally found a place for this card. Finally. This card is pretty toxic, but in this deck it actually works. Artful Dodge. Target creature is unblockable this turn, and I get to play it one more time for its flashback cost, which is okay. But it's a sorcery, so I need to decide before my combat step who I want to make unblockables. I can't just cast it as a instant card. Oh, it's unblockable. Sorry, dude. But it's powerful enough that I'm gonna keep it. Oh yeah, and here's my lands. So I can just basically go through them with you guys one by one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 lands in here. So the best thing would be to have one more land in here, but we'll see. But then, my dear friends, I got some news for you. Since this is the beta of this deck, I have made a few changes. Because these are in my main pile. We got 1 card, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's just say that I want this guy in here. So that's 8 cards left. So I need to find 8 other cards. I don't think this guy is powerful enough. So hello, big boss. How you doing, man? I'm still alive and kicking. Happy New Year. Why is this in here? It was pretty obvious that I needed to have this in there. Okay, so I don't know why I put that in there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so another card I need to have in there. So that's 6 cards then. 6 cards. Yeah. Okay. So I need to change out these cards then. Yeah. And this card is okay, but I don't have enough equipment cards in here to actually warrant having this. No, I don't believe I do. Is that a card game of some sort? Or is that something else? Marvel Snap, never heard of it. Oh, cool. No, sorry, man, I don't play it. I play Hearthstone on the side. That is, yeah, probably. Uh, I haven't heard of any good Magic the Gathering and mobile games, though. If you got something for me, just give me a hint, man, and I'll check it out. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. No. It's a nice way to actually. But it costs too much. I can't sacrifice a creature. No. I'll find something else. And this guy, pretty much useless. Okay, so that's 6 cards I need to change out. Maybe I'll put some more artifacts equipments in here. I think I'll need to make that another stream because I haven't anything prepared right now for that. And it's this, which I'm gonna remove because I got 2 spells of the same name. It's just different artwork and a newer version of this card. So there you go. That's my live stream done. As always, if you missed it, Big Boss, I'm gonna just download it as a normal video so you can watch it later if you want. So don't worry about it if you missed a bit of it. It's no problem. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to support my channel, do as Big Boss does and become a member. It really supports the channel. And thank you to Big Boss and Sam Wall for supporting my channel. Really highly appreciated stuff. And if you want to see more of this Magic the Gathering, there's going to be lots more because I'm going to do updates on this deck. And on my next stream, you're going to see what happens to these cards. You think I should go for creatures, or you think I should just exchange all the creatures with only the commander and having just instances and sorceries and interrupts and stuff to protect my commander? It's a ballsy move, but it's either that or just having the deck as it is and keeping my creatures in here. Yeah. So it's either that or the other, but I will have to decide. Please leave a comment below what you think is best, as your advice really helps me out. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Big Boss, thank you for stopping by, and have yourself a really nice weekend. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.